I'm back. This is Chandler for Melder Production, and today I'm going to show you how you can create that huge cinematic impact sound using MDrummer. MDrummer recently got a lot of new drum sets, so we're going to be using some of those to create these sounds. And so let's get started. If we just choose empty here to make sure there's nothing inside here as far as drum sets go, and let's switch this to drum pad mode just so we can hear things and operate things a little bit more easily. So as you see here, there's no drum pads, so let's go into the drum set editor. Now, what we're going to do first is just add some drum. I'm going to use effect 4, and that's for a reason you'll see later. You could use toms or something else, but these are more effects, so let's use this. Okay? Now, what we have here is we have the sampler module, the scratcher, subsample synth, synthesizer, 4 in, etc. I'm actually going to use the sampler for this one just to start out. We could use anything really, but I think this is good. I'm going to find a sample here that I like, and I'll use that. So let's start with something here. Now for these, usually at first when I did this, I thought like, maybe I should start with, tom drums or bass drums. But I found what actually gives the sound that you hear, that really loud impact, is usually like foley sound. So like the sound of a door slamming or something else, I find gives the best results. So let's try to find something somewhat similar to that. Although you're surprised sometimes that things that you wouldn't think would work do. So let's try this one. It says big door. That one sounds pretty good. I might come back to that. That's okay. That's not so good. See if we can find something else. Not liking that too much. Let's find another one. I think that's a little bit too much. One of the things we can do is we can move the start position to try to get different sounds out of these. I don't want to use that. Let's see, find a few more. I actually do want to use that. Let me duplicate that because I don't want to use that for this main part, but I do want that in here. Let's try miscellaneous junk. I might be able to use that. Let me try pitching it down. So if we go here to pitch and then just move this up and down, we can hear it in different pitch ranges. Nah, that's not really what I want. Let's keep looking. I don't want to spend too much time doing this. Sometimes I'm surprised about what works. Let's try this whoosh. That's actually pretty good. Let me move the start position up here. That's actually close to what I want. So now I have two samples here. Let's try setting this to all and playing them both together. That's a little bit too strong, that exhale. I don't want that quite so loud. Yeah, it's too loud. You just move this down a little bit. Okay. So let me put headphones on just so this is a little bit more clear. And I'm going to need to add some kind of like drum sound or maybe more of an impact also. Actually, this is a little bit too long also. So what I can do is move this down here. That might be good. I might have to take that out later. We'll see. Add another one. And let's add something else. Look in the multi-sampler. Go into here. Let's add some type of tom drum. I don't know exactly what I'll use. Maybe one of these. Let's try a deep one like this. I kind of like that actually. Okay, I might have to boost this up. I think it's probably going to be a little bit low in volume. Yeah, I can barely hear that compared to the other things. Another thing I might want to do is change this to a room sound. And then I can go into the mixer here and turn the room up. Actually, I might just turn this exhale off. Yeah, get rid of this. Let's change this to something else. Let's change this to the punch we had before. I want a punch in there. That sounds good. Let's hear this all together. That's sounding pretty good. I could balance this a little bit more. But it seems okay. Okay, so this is somewhat what I want, but let's do a little bit more. Go into effects here, and let's start sculpting it. I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to start cutting some of the low end just a little bit. Okay. Now that I have that, let's look to see if there's any like boxiness or like low end resonance that I don't really want. Don't really want that. I can cut that, not too much. And now I want to emphasize those highs a little bit. Just went a little bit more slappy. So let's hear it before. After. Oh, another thing I should do. When I'm using this multi-sampler here, I need to put mix and overhead and room together so it's affecting everything. Okay. So next, let's go to some of the dynamics. Let's use Turbo Comp. Let me turn this up a little bit so you can hear it a little bit better. Now let's try this one here. That sounded pretty good already. Let's mess with the attack a little bit. Move this over. And let's even out the gain in and out. Before. After. That's good. Sounds like a gunshot. That's what I want. Now, you notice when you compress it, sometimes you hear some little like artifacts at the end, like ha ha. And I might want to take some of those out. And you can just go through here and just look to see like what sample is causing it. Is it this? It could be actually. So just cut this down here. Look at the next one. This one. It's probably not that. It might be this also. So let's just cut this down, make it a little bit tighter. Now let's listen to them all together. Good. Now one last thing we're going to do is just put on some reverb. So let's try Hall. Let's try medium deep, and let's just set it around like 35% or so. Let's hear how this sounds. This is what I want. So for me, this one could be done. Of course, there's more things I could tweak, but for the most part, that's how I want it to sound, just like this. A huge impact, like somebody slamming something on the ground. Now, what I'm going to do is actually join this to the ones I did before. So this is one variation, but I'll show you some other ones. So I'm going to click Load and Join. Let me close this up for you so you have more room. Now, ones I made before, just under Impacts here. Open. Now it's loading these other three. So these are effect 1, 2, 3, and 4, which we just made. So you can see we have all these selected here. One is made out of synthesizer 1. Layered with tom, or actually this is a snare drum, layered with door slamming, the big door slamming, which we didn't use, I think, in the other ones, and with a bag sound. So this is what the first one sounds like. Here's the second one, more layering of synths, toms, 2 different toms, and then another foley sound. Sounds like this. And then the third one is another foley sound, the door sound, mixed with a clap mixed with another Foley sound like destruction sound, and that's mixed with a synth bass. Should sound like this. And here's the one we just made. This one's a little bit low in volume. So if you want to normalize these, just go into here and click auto gain out, and it boosts it just a little bit. Now, one thing you're probably thinking is like, whoa, you're using lots of effects. Each one of these has different effects on it. Isn't that wasting CPU? And it is. So I think the Melda plugins in general are pretty CPU safe. They don't use too much, but there's a way to get rid of this. So let's say we had one of these, one, or maybe two. I like the sound of two. So what I want to do is I want to save some CPU. One thing I can do here is go into here, go to the menu where it says export layer, and I'll save it as hard hit like this. And that's going to take everything I have layered here and the effects and make a new sample. And it's going to be saved under effects synthesized here. Yes. Okay. And let's add another one here. Scratch one. Okay. Now, what we can do here is go to sampler, effects, synthesized, all the way to the bottom, and here is hard hit. So this should sound just like the other one. That's cool, but let's do something slightly different with this. So instead of opening it here in sampler, let's open in subsample synth. And the reason I want to do that is I want to make this a reverse sample. So if I open it subsample synth, not subsample synth, I'm sorry, it's a scratcher that I want to use. So that'll help us use a reverse sample or make a reverse sample easily and one that will fit in time. So here I have effects, synthesized, find this, and we check to see how long is this sample. So it looks like it's 2,902 samples, but now it's playing at 1,000 samples. So it's going to sound a little bit higher than the original. If I move it up more or down more, even higher, move it down more, lower. But what I need to do is I want to sync this to the tempo. So double click here. I could do it with sync, but I just like to do it this way personally. And let's use half notes. I could use a whole note. Should I? Yeah, let's use a whole note here. So now we have this. And let's play it. Okay. Now to reverse it, all we have to do is just do this. That's good. I don't like that little thing at the end where it sounds like sucking air. So let's just move this down. This is the envelope, just so we can get rid of that last bit so it's not quite so prominent. Move it up a little bit more. But that's what we have. And the reason I wanted to do this is this can be like the lead up into the impact. So if we go into the rhythm editor here, okay, we have a bunch of stuff here we don't need. We can just right click, clear track. There we go. And let's add stuff in. So I'm going to add this scratch one, which is our reverse hit. Add another beat here. And when I play this and go through, should be synced up to the tempo. And when I play it, you should hear the verse stop here. Okay. Now, let's add some more. Let's add effect 1, effect 2, effect 3, and effect 4. So now we can do something like this. There you go. So there's that cinematic impact sound. Of course, I could make this shorter instead of having this as a whole note. I could have it as a half note, although this will play a little bit higher. In some cases, that might be what you want. And you might also want to cut this sample down. So you see here, it has a little bit longer length than I probably would have liked. But if you go into sampler, I can do the same thing twice. Just go into here, cut it down by doing something like this on the correct sample here. So Hope that gives you some ideas on how you can make your own impact sounds. I'll be going forward with this, and hopefully by the end of the month, I'll be able to make a whole track using this. But if you like this, give me a thumbs up, leave me any comments down below, and check out all the other plugins at melderproduction.com. And until next time, see you.